is growing and becoming more and more of a problem.
Hold that up again. Let me see if I can see it. Yeah, I've got it.
A couple more. This one, I think y'all know what that is. What's that stand for? Yeah. So what that's saying, you know what it's saying? It's saying, and even in darkness, there's a little bit of light. And even in light, there's a little bit of darkness. Well, the Jesus I serve and the God that I serve has no darkness. He is all light. And I can tell you one thing, the enemy that we're fighting, he has no light in him. There's no goodness. And I've heard preachers say, there's a little bit of good in everything. Well, there's no good in Satan. I can tell you that. But and you see this everywhere. So that's something that we need to be aware of. And I know you know what that is. Peace symbol. In witchcraft, it's called the broken cross. But it's mocking the death of Jesus, basically, is what they're doing. And Satanists use this. You see, of course, you see this everywhere. I see little kids wearing this on their T-shirts all the time. But why would we want to wear a symbol that Satan is using to promote his message and using to destroy lives of people that we may or may not know? Do you know what that means? That means I love you in sign language. Well, we know the enemy is Antichrist. He tries to copy things that God does and use it for him. So what do you see in music videos? What do you see in sports? What do you see all over the place? Every time somebody does a selfie or does a picture of their group, well, what are some of the kids doing? Well, that means I love you. What's that mean? It's the horned hand. It's a demonic symbol. It's a symbol that Satanists use. That's how they are glorifying their God that they serve, which is Satan. So, but you see kids doing it all the time, and I see adults doing it, but it's just promoting. And I will say that I've seen some so-called Christian musicians in some of their pictures and on some of their albums, doing this. Well, that's not godly. That's glorifying Satan, not glorifying God. So these symbols that are becoming commonplace and are becoming accepted and are even in church sometimes are ways that the enemy can gain that legal authority over us and over our possessions and over our dwellings and over our temple. So we have to be aware of that. It really comes down to the fact that we have to understand that we are fighting against this enemy, and it's not an enemy that we can see right in front of us. It's an enemy that's working in the spiritual to defeat us and to destroy us and to destroy our loved ones. And we have to, again, get ourselves to the point to where we are prepared to fight that battle. And once we get there and once we have our temple clean, then we can go into battle with the authority that God gives us to be able to drive these things out of our homes and out of our children's lives and out of our loved ones' lives, and be able to cleanse those. But again, I would say you have to fill that home and fill that temple with something, or you're going to be worse off than you were before. And you can't go into it saying, yes, I'm going to burn some books, and I'm going to destroy some whatever, and think that's going to do it. That's just part of it. And it's not a ritual thing. It's not a superstition thing. It's a real spiritual battle that we're fighting, and we have to understand what the enemy just wants a foothold. Satan wants a foothold in your life, just a little bit. And then before you know it, he set up a stronghold in your life. And then you have real problems. And it's not problems bigger than our God can handle, but it's a problem. So what we have to avoid is letting him get those footholds and to get him out of the places that we don't want him, which is anywhere in our life. But again, I would recommend that you get this book. There's other books. The ones I've looked at, I like this one the best. It's the easiest to read. It makes the most sense, and it's got a lot of examples in it. But remember who you are. Remember that you are a child of God. Remember that God has given us authority. And remember that He wants us to fight the battle. The war is already won. The victory is already in hand. We're just cleaning up a few little odds and ends and things here on this earth. It's like any war, once it's over, the war is over, but there's little skirmishes that take place afterwards that just kind of clean things up. And that's what we're fighting. We don't have to win the war. God's already when Jesus came, the war was won. We just have to fight these little battles. But the great thing is He's given us the tools to do that. So, are there any questions, comments, testimonies? Have you had experience with these type things? I know this is familiar to some of you and maybe not so familiar to others.
Can you turn that book around? Can you bring that book up here and let's just show it so that people can see exactly. Come a little closer. Thank you. That's good. That's good.
Good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any questions? There's got to be something.
It's a good word.
There's got to be something. First time I ever heard spiritual house cleaning, Gary said it here. I didn't have a clue what he's talking about. I thought it was just, when I say just prayer, I thought we were just going to pray about for each other, but I didn't really understand the whole concept and how involved it was and how serious it was. He said he probably wasn't sure at the time either, but he knew it needed to take place.
You know, after you clean the house and stuff, it's real. I lose track of time 3 or 4 years ago, but the whole, like you said it, Holy Spirit still reveals things to you. I mean, He'll draw you to it.
Well,
sometimes I know what it is, and sometimes I don't, but I get rid of it.
And that's a good point, because when Israel, when they finally got into the promised land, did they get the whole land all at once? No, they were fighting battle by battle by battle, getting a little bit at a time, and that's kind of the way this is sometimes. You might not, win the whole battle at one time and cleanse everything, but we take it step at a time, and the Holy Spirit will keep revealing things to us. Like I said, there's certain things that are obvious, there's some things that are not so obvious. Any other questions, comments?
Good job.
Was this